Okay, hello everyone. Feeling super energetic, excited to be here with all of you. Ferrovial has been from the really beginning supporting South Summit, innovation in Spain, in Europe, for the last 12 years, and very happy to be back here in the main stage, in the arena stage, with all of you. We have a very interesting roundtable today for data centers. That is a very hot topic today. Maybe you have seen in the news the large investments that are coming to the south of Europe, Madrid, Aragon, of course, Frankfurt, Paris, London, many places. And it's a critical infrastructure, and it's an infrastructure that needs to be sustainable. And it's a very booming market as well. As a market, it's growing at double digit every year. So just a few examples. In the US, it's growing at 20% every year. In Europe, it's growing at 10%, with, let's say, about 30 to 50 billion market every year. So it's huge. I was saying investments are coming. It's critical because when we send a mail, it's critical when, I would say, when we upload a photo to Instagram, when we connect with LinkedIn, we are using data centers. And it's critical because when there's an issue with the police or in the healthcare system, we are using data centers. That's what they are called critical mission infrastructures. And it's rising because the AI is rising, it's booming, because all the companies are moving to the cloud, and because of the cyber alerts. Today, we are going to discuss this topic, and because we are in South Summit, we have two large corporates, and we have a startup. And I think it's a good example of what South Summit means. No? The alliance between corporates and startups works always very good, very well. And we have Microsoft, we have Ferrovial, and we have Summer. And let me introduce the panelists today with us. So we have Enrique Ruiz Pérez, that is the Microsoft Spain data centers lead. We have Pedro Gómez, that is the digital infrastructure strategy and development director at Ferrovial. And we have Paul Valls, that is co-founder, CFO, and chief strategy officer at Summer. That's a startup that I guess 4 years back, 2020, was a winner of the award here at South Summit, so very familiar to all of us. And let me start with the roundtable. So first question for you, Enrique. So we'd like to understand the views of Microsoft in the market of data centers. In the region of the south of Europe, how do you see where the investment going and your overall views of the market?
Hello. Firstly, let me say that I am very happy to be here in this South Summit edition. Thanks for the invite. Just for providing some context regarding the investment that Microsoft is doing in data centers. Microsoft has currently more than 60 cloud regions around the world. Those cloud regions, each of them is composed by usually three availability zones, what we call availability zones. And at the same time, each of these availability zones is composed by one or several data centers. So when we talk about a cloud region, for example, that is the term that you use usually, we are talking about a set of different data centers working together. Each of these data centers has their own power, their own cooling, their own networking, etc. So totally independent. And those availability zones are connected through fast lines of communications with guaranteeing less than 2 milliseconds in round trip. So that allows that the information be synchronized, replicated in these three different sites, and provide the highest level of availability that exists currently in the industry. So all of that regions are connected through a backbone network that is around the world. It has more than 280,000 kilometers, which represent 7 times the turn around the world. So it's one of the largest networks, private networks in the world. And all of that infrastructure is think potentially for providing the largest capability and the largest availability for the customers. And what's the goal that Microsoft is having with these investments is to getting closer the cloud to the customers. These 60 cloud regions represent, for example, more than double that our competitors, the rest of hyperscalers. So it's a very different strategy that we are following, and we are in now currently in a very aggressive plan of expanding of those infrastructure. For example, we have now currently more than 300 data centers around the world. We are now announcing the opening of the cloud region in Spain. A few months ago, we announced the opening of Italy. This will be followed by openings in Austria, Belgium, Denmark, etc. So the idea is to have all the capacity very close to where the customers are there. So this is speeded up, particularly and we will probably talk later, by the artificial intelligence demand that is happening currently.
Super, thank you very much. I want to congratulate you as a Microsoft. Mm-hmm. You are, let's say, the top 1, 2 hyperscaler worldwide, no? So in terms of capacity, so I want to congratulate you for the bet you are doing here in Spain in particular. We have a quite solid partnership, Microsoft and Ferrovial, that is working very well, of course, for cloud innovation, but also for data centers. And I think we are very happy working with you, and I think the collaboration is going very well. By the way, this collaboration needs a lot of infrastructure, delivery, and Pedro is running the digital infrastructure at Ferrovial and Ferrovial Construction. I would like also, Pedro, to get your views on the market and also the value proposition that Ferrovial is bringing to the table.
Well, first of all, thanks for the opportunity and thanks to South Summit for having us here. We are honored and I'm very excited about the panel. When we talk about the value proposition that we have in Ferrovial, we have to also put in perspective what Ferrovial is. So Ferrovial is an investor and developer of infrastructure. We are more known for the transport infrastructure, particularly roads and airports. But we also have the energy business unit and the construction. So our value proposition is a combination of all of them. In the particular sector of data centers, we have a really good track record. We are market leaders in Spain and also in Poland from a construction point of view, working for hyperscalers and operators. And now, obviously, the market, as you said very well at the beginning, the market is booming. The demand of this type of assets is huge. It's actually way higher than the capacity that the market has to put assets for its use. So what we are doing is trying to support our clients on an end-to-end basis, helping them to identify proper locations, helping them with the construction, and covering all the needs that they have. I would say that one of the main differentiators that we have is the approach we have towards sustainability and innovation, and within innovation, the particular element around digitalization, not just for the construction, but also for the overall management of the projects, in order to provide evidence of that. Safety is also quite critical element, and there is also plenty of innovation that actually you can see out there that is linked to the way we deliver the construction phase.
I think we have been delivering data centers for many years now, no?
Yeah, more, yeah, exactly.
We are accelerating, and our partnership with Microsoft is supporting a lot. As innovation leaders, at Ferrovial, we are always thinking in what's coming next and understanding what are the startups that are bringing revolutionary things to the table, and also in this market is going to happen. That's why Paul Submer is here. Congratulations for your award. So I think always good startups are recognized here. I'd like to understand also your solutions that at the end are going to tackle those challenges around sustainability that are very relevant as well, no, for this market.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me. It's an honor to be here. 4 years back, I was pitching, and now growing as a scale-up. having quite a lot of traction, 200 megawatts of the solution rolled out last year. And what we do is basically making data centers more sustainable, cost-effective, flexible, and powerful with these kind of jacuzzis for compute. So basically, we can submerge any kind of electronics in these tanks and make them much more efficient in terms of OPEX, CAPEX, and also hardware reliability and so on. No? So basically, 3 key things are happening in the industry, and you know it very well. One is the density physical limitation of chips. Chips are getting hotter and denser. If you've seen the latest NVIDIA chips, we are talking about like a microwave per chip, and you have plenty of chips in a single server, so 1,000 watts per chip. And we cannot grow as efficiently as we were growing before. So all this Moore's law that we had cannot evolve at the same pace. So basically what's happening is that semiconductor companies have roadmaps that skyrocket in densities. So this is a physical limitation that we tackle, and we make basically future-proof infrastructure that can sustain this evolution of densities. But it has been also our catalyzer for this scale-up inflection point we are in. No? It has been the way to move big corporations is when there is a physical problem that they don't have a way to kind of work around. No? So this has been on our side very helpful, but on the sustainability aspect, it has been a big challenge. So that's the other challenge that we see. So the second big problem is sustainability and impact. An average data center consumes an Olympic swimming pool every 2 days of water, obviously depending on the technology, but if they try to extend the runway of traditional technologies, they use evaporative cooling, and this has a lot of implications in water consumption. They lower a little bit the operational costs in electricity, but they increase the water consumption. Another problem is the electricity costs. Because of all this energy being growing exponentially, we see a lot of electricity closer or getting closer, all the IT, to the India's electricity consumption, which is quite crazy, which translates also, depending on the mix of the energy source, in CO2 emissions equal or similar to commercial air travel. So obviously, massive impact problems. And the third thing is total cost of ownership. Obviously, if you compound all these operational costs with all these kind of exotic ways to extend the runway of traditional technologies, how you prepare these buildings and this critical infrastructure, how you build these white, very expensive rooms called Isles of Rags, et cetera, this adds up a lot in the total cost of ownership. So as Summer, what we do with our technology is optimizing all these key 3 things. And we tick all these boxes compared to traditional technologies and direct-to-chip, which kind of patch their way to the density because of all this AI wave, and there are these heat sinks with pipes that try to cool the chip only, but we do that, but also with the rest of components and with the rest of benefits on sustainability and so on.
Thank you, Paul. Fully aligned, no, with the challenges. So challenges around the supply chain, energy, sustainability, but also I think data centers are a source of economic growth, right? And are going to bring many things to our regions. But going deeper in the sustainability area, and now it's an open question for all the 3. So water, energy, carbon footprint, social development. What are the things you are doing, or what are the things you think we should do as corporates and startups in order to tackle those challenges?
Well, I started, sorry. I think that sustainability is a really important topic for us. You mentioned at the very beginning of the table that what is the proposal of the data centers, how the data centers are helping to have our daily life, also to provide health and safety services in part. No, but I think that is a very important also goal from the data centers that is related with sustainability, because the data centers are really great optimizers of the resources usage. Let me explain. So, till not too far, we have that many of the companies have their own IT infrastructure, services, etc. Many of them are still having them. And each of these infrastructure usually are oversized, are poorly optimized And the reason is clear. It's because the IT departments need to scale and dimension these infrastructures for thinking in the peak of the usage of the business of those companies. That is usually something that happens a couple of times in the year or even slightly more. But most of the time is not used, that capacity. We're talking about compute capacity, we're talking about memory, and of course, usage of energy, water to cooling, etc. So in the moment where the public cloud has been growing, has been replacing this kind of IT and poorly optimized environments by data centers that are designed from the very beginning just for being optimal in the usage of the resources. We're talking, of course, about energy, also cooling, and we have many examples that having this critical mass in data centers allows a lot of innovation that is not possible at the level of a single company. And we have in the table a great example with Submer of innovation in this area. The improvement in the usage of the resources is so high that the WSP is a well-known environmental consultancy firm, has estimated that, for example, the usage of Azure Cloud compared with on-prem, the traditional on-prem infrastructure of any customer, average customers, represent 93% of less consumption of energy, and even up to 98% of less carbon footprint. So the impact is huge.
And actually, something that you just touched on and linking with the growth that Rafa, you were explaining, if we broaden not just on sustainability and we move into ESG, actually this is a very good example of the growth that the sector is going to be bringing. There are many articles saying that data centers at the end of the day are very large assets that don't really create employment for the regions where they come. But actually that's not quite right. Because if you look at the supply chain and the amount of people that are going to be involved from a design point of view, also from a construction point of view, and then all the ecosystem of the supply chain that will be feeding not just the construction, but also all the equipment that goes into a data center, we're talking about billions in terms of economic growth and particularly from an employment point of view. And that's something that somehow is not being quite brightened up when we talk about this sector in particular.
Yeah, I totally subscribe to these 2 points. For sure, creating this ecosystem, it has derivatives which generate more employment and hopefully also here locally. Now that we are here, we are also have a presence here and we are trying to scale up in this region for sure. The other thing that I think is interesting is all these regulations around sustainability and how governments are getting more and more strict about their heat reuse, energy efficiency, et cetera, of data centers. Because one thing that if you think about it, a data center is kind of a machine that loads your email and loads your whatever Instagram pictures, et cetera, but it translates electricity in 99% into heat that is just blown away and rejected into the atmosphere. One of the things that we are doing also, we are starting to do in the Nordics and in some use cases also with industrial processes in hotter climates, is capturing 100% of all this thermal energy and reusing it for other purposes. So there is a massive opportunity cost by capturing this energy, finding these local synergies and moving from a data center that has this perception of being a big building that doesn't generate jobs, et cetera, which in reality we see that it's not exactly the case, but something that can be much more efficient, much more kind of compact, retrofitted in areas that otherwise would be impossible to have a data center, and finding these local synergies where you can have these upsides of heat reuse, of extending the life of the equipment, et cetera. So we see a lot of basically side benefits of integrating the technology in a creative way.
So I think this is the right direction of travel in terms of the things we need to do, and we need to accelerate investment in this particular field of sustainability. Let's touch a little bit in innovation and AI, because at the end, that data centers or part of the capacity of the data center will support the development of AI. I'm interested to know how Microsoft is moving with your alliance the Copilot, OpenAI, and everything. I would like to understand more also what Ferrovial is doing on these kind of fields, innovation and AI, and also Summer. What is, I mean, you are in a startup, so you are innovating by default, but what's next? So even better. So, yeah.
Well, I think the artificial intelligence, of course, is the most challenging, probably, topic now for the data center. So the extraordinary demand of power that are required in all these models of generative AI is creating a challenge, a big challenge. For example, 1 year ago, we worked with OpenAI in order to train GPT-4. And very recently was announced GPT-4o. In order to create this new infrastructure for 4o, we required a capacity and infrastructure 6 times faster than we did in the past year for GPT-4. But at the same time, all the optimization that we have been introducing has split by 12 the cost of that. So it's 12 times cheaper, that infrastructure. So we are still working in optimize that infrastructure and transpose those optimization that we were talking in data centers to also to artificial intelligence. Another example, for example, is the creation of the MEA 100. This is on our own chip, just for optimizing the usage of artificial intelligence and designed just for data centers. So we have designed not only the chip, which is one of the largest chips that is impossible to be created with the industry today, and we have created also the rack for including these chips with a special dedicated way for cooling that using a closed loop of liquid cooling that is not usual to be used in data centers with a circuit of liquid for reaching those racks. So it's pretty amazing.
Actually, linking to that, the approach that we had in Ferrovial towards AI started at the very beginning. So we were very focused, especially on LLM, trying to capture the advantages and the efficiency that it was generated. But we have moved very rapidly, following the trend of the market as well, to the multimodality and the better use of all that capacity. So we have, for example, actually in the construction work that we do on data centers, we are utilizing information that we get from video, information that we can get from pictures, from voice, and from text, combining everything to be able to capture the information, transform and provide an output, obviously at the speed that we have with AI, that is providing a competitive advantage on top of the efficiency.
From our side, what we are doing is making sure that we work very close to our ecosystem partners, being companies like you, but from the chip to the facilities and everything in between, and how we can really integrate in an AI factory that it's really sustainable and cost-effective at scale. So what we see as a derivative of the technology also is that the hardware failure rate is lowered massively. So you can think about future AI factories where we also have some robotics patents, so we could automate the maintenance, but why not even not having any maintenance? Because we can think about a box that acts as a battery pack where we have an overhead of compute, just a minor 2% overhead of compute, and you know that you have this AI, very powerful machine. It will be running whatever capacity, logical capacity, and you don't even need to touch it, and can be your boiler for your office to heat your building, or it can be placed to a greenhouse, next to a greenhouse, and basically help in the community. No? So that's the kind of vision that we are seeing when you start to leverage all these side benefits of the technology.
Thank you very much. We are about to close. Just a few remarks. We were saying in the beginning that the market is really growing, so we need to capture as much as this value possible for Spain and Europe. We are working on it. We are following your leadership as Microsoft, that you are bringing many, many good things. Thank you also to Ferrovial, Pedro, for proposing innovative solutions for complex projects and challenges as the one that this market has. And many thanks, Paul and Summer, as well, for challenging us as the companies that we are in the day-to-day, bringing always new solutions to the table and well, again, challenging ourselves that we need it, and we appreciate a lot. Thank you again. A big applause for the three of them, Enrique, Pedro, and Paul. Many thank you for all of you.